This lesson today, it's not going to be comfortable. I'll be honest with you, as we've recorded these in a single week, a Monday, Tuesday, and now a Thursday, I've dreaded this one all week. I've known it was coming. I knew it was going to get done. I knew what was in it. And I just tried to ignore it. And I think sometimes what we try to do, not only as people who just live general lives, as Americans, as parents, we try to ignore the things that are difficult. I'm Jonathan Burns. Thank you for joining me on Danger Zone, Parenting in the Digital Age. And today we're looking at a lesson entitled From Gutenberg to the Little Screen. We're talking about from the printing press to the phone that's now in the pocket, and maybe even you're watching this lesson on today. We have 5 areas that we're going to look at today: the statistics, the brain, the access, the damage, and the future. Now, these 5 things are all designed to help us see some realities that exist in our world. Let's look at statistics concerning teenagers and pornography. Teenagers are defined as age 13 to 17, and a 2022 report indicates that 73% of teens aged 13 to 17 have watched pornography online, with more than half, 54%, reporting multiple viewings. Now, what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to give you information. Now, I certainly hope that you and your family, you have beaten these odds. However, I know for many, they have not. 73% of teens, 13 to 17, have fallen victim to the pornography industry. When it comes to young adults aged 18 to 29, approximately 44% of men in this age group reported to watching online adult content in the past month. So over a 30-day period, 44% of this age bracket, 18 to 29, have used digital pornography in their lives. When it comes to adults, this is those 18 to 73 in this particular study, we found that 91.5% of men and 60.2% of women reported consuming pornography in the past month. Just in 30 days. 91.5% of men, 60.2% of women who are adults have fallen victim to pornography. By gender, men are 4 times more likely than women to report having watched pornography in the past month, 44% versus 11%. Up to 42% of women in the United States reported watching pornography within the last year. Do you see what I'm trying to point to you? Here is the problem. In all of the things that we've been looking at, in the things concerning social media, in the things concerning various apps that are dangerous, in the things concerning technology that's been advancing and growing, we've had a center theme. And it has been revolving around the industry of pornography. By median consumption in 2021, 98% of pornography was accessed by young adults on internet-based mediums, with a majority, 69%, viewing on a cell phone. The United States leads in pornography consumption, followed by France, the Philippines, and Mexico. That's staggering, isn't it? The United States, of which most of us live that are watching this, we lead the world in a very unfortunate statistic. We lead the world at a lack of morals. Every day, approximately 68 million search queries related to pornography, constituting 25% of total searches, are generated. Imagine how many people today have been to Google and the things that have been searched almost 1/4 of all those things had to do with the problem we've been discussing. The estimated number of individuals viewing pornography on the internet increased over threefold between 2004 and 2016. The increase, the rise, that is what the statistics are showing you and me. We know this is a problem. We know it's taking place. So what is it doing to people who view it? Now, if I can take you to the side for just a minute, I want you to recognize something. Everything in this life does something to us. It affects the way we think, it affects the way we hear, and it affects the way we see. And probably in a deeper form, as we think about these things, it affects the way we perceive our world. And the matters of the heart, the matters of the mind, they will drive us. They will direct us. And they will cause us to search out those matters that are on our hearts. I want to talk about 3 different categories for just a moment that will help us see what the pornography problem has created. When it comes to children, now children are defined from age 12 down to birth. We learn a number of things happen when children view pornography. We have a distortion of healthy sexual development, increased risk of addiction, and emotional and physical distresses. Now these 3 things, they are in depth in the handouts that go with this lesson. I want to tell you something that's true. All of the things in the handout, I simply couldn't say all of them. Not because I didn't think I could pronounce the words, sometimes that's my problem. Not because I didn't think you didn't need to know it, but I'll be honest with you, I'm ashamed of my world. I'm ashamed to sit here and tell you that children have a problem with pornography, and here are the things that happen. And the truth is, when a child views pornography and when a child follows after pornography, lives are destroyed. Remember, this is those 12 and down. You have the child who has problems in the mind with this potential problem that's before them. You have the teenager. The teenager faces altered brain development, a desensitization and escalation of things in their lives, a negative impact on relationships, and impaired academic and social functioning. In other words, everything that involves the teenager, when they are exposed and continually exposed to pornography, they begin to have problems in their lives. There are a number of studies that show how the brain before pornography in a teenager and after pornography works in the scans of the brain. You see, it's not something that's innocent. It's not something that's easily forgotten. It is a problem that affects the future. So you have children, you have teenagers, you have adults. Adults have problems with addiction and escalation, a decreased relationship satisfaction, objectification and dehumanization, and mental health issues. I think you can see, as I can see, we can't keep sweeping it under the rug. This is a problem that drives a multi-billion-dollar industry. And now, all you have to do is type. Now, you can carry it with you in your pocket. Now, it is everywhere, and we see that it affects the brain. I don't know about you, but that kind of hurts me, doesn't it you? To know that there is research on children and teenagers and adults on the dangers that have been created. So what do we do with this information? Well, number one, as a parent, we need to know what access children, teenagers, and fellow adults have to the pornography problem in our world. The number one thing I want you to see is free pornography websites. Pornographic websites are abundant, and many do not have robust age verification systems in place. While some use simple "Are you over 18" pop-ups, these can be easily bypassed by minors. Click. Click. It was that easy for the child, whether it sought it out or not, for the teenager, whether it was sought out or not, or the adult. A simple click in the day and age we live can take you to a place that you never needed to be. And listen to this, many times today, it's free. We live in the world of smart devices, phones, tablets, gaming consoles with internet access provide a portable and often unsupervised means for children to browse online. I want you to think about this if you have children in your home, whether they are children under the age of 13 or teenagers from 13 to 17, or whether you have adults from 18 all the way up as far as we can go. I think we need to understand it's no longer just computers. It's no longer just phones. It even has access in gaming consoles. All of the modern gaming consoles that exist, whether you're talking about the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox platform, the PlayStation platform, and even your smart TVs that are in your homes, they all have internet browsers. And all the things that we're discussing, they can be accessed from there. You see, these smart devices, anything connected to the internet, is a portal to things that you've never thought about. The other access comes in the idea of peer sharing. Children may also be exposed to pornography through friends or peers who share content via messaging apps, file sharing platforms, or even offline. You see, it used to be that magazines, the printed material, that's why we call this from Gutenberg to the little screen. You see, Gutenberg invented the printing press, and though they were not printing images such as modern printers can do, such as modern magazines provide, it certainly became the main avenue through printed word and printed images. You see, even offline, these dangers still exist. One of the big problems that exists inside of modern technology is weak age verification systems. We've mentioned this a moment ago, but age verification systems on websites are often minimal, with children able to fake their age by entering a false birth date or bypassing verification prompts. I saw a post today on social media, and it was someone who has already graduated high school, and interestingly enough, they were talking about, on one social media platform, a different social media platform that they used to use while they were in school because it was the only one that the school network didn't block. It's one of the ones talked about in our Dangerous Apps segment that is 4 different sections long. In other words, those in high school, those in middle school, they have already learned to bypass things that we thought were invincible. And these weak age verification systems, these weak prompts, they don't provide what needs to be. And it becomes a part of the access problem that exists. There is a common exposure problem. Studies show that a significant percentage of children and teens are exposed to pornography by their early teenage years. According to a 2016 study, around 28% of children aged 11 to 12 had seen explicit material, and the percentage increases with age. Do you see what we're talking about with access? It is now that easy. Maybe now we begin to see why we call this program Danger Zone Parenting in the Digital Age. There are dangers that harm the brain because access has been unlimited. Let's move to our 4th point and let's talk about the damage that is done in modern society. What I want to do is I want to give you a couple of areas that exist. Now, in the handout, you can find all of these fully defined, but you have the early roots of pornography in America. This is the pre-20th century. You have technological and cultural shifts, the early 20th century. You have the mainstream emergence of pornography, the mid-20th century. You have the sexual revolution and pornography boom in 1960s and 1970s. And then you have the digital explosion from 1980 to the present. Now these areas, if you go get the handout, you will be able to find all the things that took place. And you'll find things like this looking at the early roots of pornography in America. There was an imported influence. Pornography as we recognize it today can be traced back to Europe, where sexually explicit art and literature were produced as far back as the Renaissance. Early American exposure came through imported materials. Before the internet was ever formed, it came across on a boat. You see, this has been going on for a very long time. You can see the digital explosion, 1980s to present. It has to do with industry growth. Pornography has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. In 2023, pornography sites were among the most visited websites globally with billions of views per month. I want you to think about that for just a minute. Billions of views, not per year. Billions of views, not per quarter. Billions of views per month. What type of damage do you think that does? Now, the pornography epidemic would have never grown without the invention of digital technology and media transport streams. I know we can talk about the printing press, Gutenberg, who designed and modernized the printing industry. We can talk about, do y'all remember this, the VHS tape? DVDs, Blu-rays, printed materials, streaming, all of these things would have never rose to the height they are until technology emerged. Now certainly, inherently on its own, technology is not evil, but it is dictated by the way it is used. And that makes damage, and damage that harms our society. May I say this? Shame on us in the United States for producing so much of its content. So what do we do? What do we do now? Let's talk about the future. We're going to talk about 3 or 4 different areas that hopefully will help us have some conversations. We need to know that communication is all about finding ways to talk. Let's communicate. Let's find ways to talk. And we need to understand that communication is not always comfortable. I'll be honest with you. I really haven't liked this chair today. I really didn't like it in some of the other areas we've studied either, but I really don't like it tonight. And you'll know more about why when you go get the handout for this particular lesson and you see all the dangers, all the problems that have been created many times from our society. Communication is not always comfortable. I want us to look at a number of areas that hopefully will help us as we think about these particular age brackets. Let's start off by talking about young children. Now, I broke it down in ages 5 to 10 for this reason, because we need to introduce boundaries. Teach children that not all pictures or videos are good, and some may harm their hearts and minds. Use simple language. If you ever see a picture or video of people without their clothes on, it's important to tell a responsible adult right away. Now, I don't want to talk about that as much as you want to hear that. But the truth is, young children, according to the numbers, are being exposed to pornography. What we're trying to do is we're trying to foster, build communication. We want our children, whether they are our biological children, whether they are our grandchildren or great-grandchildren, or they are children that we are taking care of, we want them to be able to trust us when they see something, they know they can come to us. They can communicate to us and with us so that they can deal with the fears and problems that they face. Imagine age 5 to 10 seeing this explicit material and not knowing what to do. Fostering communication, building communication helps the future. As a dad, I'll be honest with you, I've had conversations I never thought I would ever have. One night, my wife and I, Kelly, were putting our boys to bed, and both of our boys are in elementary school. And they were telling me about something that happened at elementary school. And what blew my mind was, number one, my child knew about it. But number two, all the children seemed to know about it. Something took place there that day. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it didn't need to happen. And notice this, everyone knew it. I spent some time that night telling them why the actions that took place were not right. And I spent time, especially with my oldest son, who is 9, spent time with him telling him, hey, if anything ever happens like this again, you can come tell me. You can come tell me. You can ask me about it. You can tell me about it. And you will never hear me be mad at you. What am I trying to build? Communication. Young children need communication. Preteens need communication. Age 11 to 13. We need to define pornography. Pornography is pictures or videos of people showing their private parts or doing things that should only happen between a husband and wife. That's a hard conversation. I'll be honest with you. I can tell you this with zero reservation. I don't look forward to that. However, at the right time, in this age bracket, I'm going to sit my boys down alone, one-on-one, just me and him, at different times, not together, me and just one of them. And we're going to talk about what's right and what's wrong. We have to have that conversation because just like what happened when they were in elementary school, everyone's going to know about it. Teenagers need conversation. This is age 14 to 18. Teens are more likely to have encountered pornography, whether intentionally or accidentally. Conversations should be open and honest. We've got to stop talking about the birds and the bees, okay? I know that's how it's been posed in the past, and I understand that. I'm certainly not putting someone down from the past. But we've got to start talking how things are. And teenagers need to understand that they will never be in trouble for talking to mom and dad, for talking to those who are authority figures in their lives, for talking to those who can help them. Let's not be dismissive. Let's be people who are open and honest. You see, the future dictates that we're open and honest because we're trying to build accountability. We need to equip teens with tools like accountability software and encourage them to talk to you or a trusted mentor if they're struggling. Do you remember when you were 14, 15, 16, 17, when you were an adult at 18? Boy, you had life figured out, didn't you? The truth is you didn't know what was going on. You may have acknowledged it, maybe you didn't. But you knew there were people in your life who cared for you. We need to instill in our young people the ability to come and say, hey, I need to talk. Hey, something happened today. Hey, I've got a problem. Will you help me? And for them to know that we will help them and not harm them. We need to create a mentor relationship so that problems that really exist can be discussed. Whether they are ongoing problems or problems that they struggled with or still struggle with, we need to build a future where we help. You see, the statistics, the brain, the access, the damage, the future, that's all wrapped up in the idea from Gutenberg to the little screen. In other words, We need to take active roles because this problem has not gone away. It has only grown larger. Now, may I talk to you for just 1 minute, and then I'll let you go. This was the most challenging lesson to give and to hear. I was telling those who are helping me do audio proofing and PowerPoint proofing that this is the worst one. This is it. It's the worst one. But I promise you, if you will build a way to open dialogue with your family, you can tackle this problem. Maybe they're having a problem with this particular issue already. Maybe you're having a problem. Seek out help. Seek someone to help you, because it's not going to get any better until you turn the page on this problem.